Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
Yeah, what up? Hello and welcome. It is now the KVJ After the Show podcast.
Yes, coming!
All right, baby. How you doing?
Good.
You cheered and then you went, oh.
Sorry, I tried to move. It's just my foot.
Yeah, just constant pain, huh?
My foot, my fake injury.
The struggle is real for the bird.
Yeah. Is it feeling any better?
Honestly, no, it's not. My problem is I'm having a tough time putting any sort of pressure. So I'm even with this walking boot. So I'm hoping in another week or so I'll be at least be able to put pressure. I can't do crutches. They beat the shit out of my armpits. I'm not good on crutches.
Crutches do. They hurt your pits.
They do.
You can't let the pressure of the crutch go into your pity city. You have to use your hands and let them take all the pressure, keeping your elbows locked.
I don't do it good. I'm not good at it.
Imagine that.
No, I don't think I can be mean about it, but
You're
yeah.
right, I know,
I'm
huh?
not good at it. Shit, my bad, Queen Crutch.
Yeah.
Oh, I can fuck it up on crutches.
I'm not good on them.
You can tie both my feet together.
I have
I can
them.
take off down the hall.
I have crutches. I probably should try to. I mean, crutches might be better than me hopping on one leg in the parking lot.
You up for a little crutch off?
Shit, yeah, I kind of am. I kind of want it now. Now it's a competition. Yeah, I'm in.
Talked him into it. Let me see. Been checking some very interesting emails earlier on the show today, regular show. If you missed it, you can go back and check out the story of two sisters from Wellington, Lauren and Lulu Farina, who were in Las Vegas. They run a wedding business in Wellington. We're out there for a convention and went to the concert, and Lauren was in a wheelchair because of some issues that she had, like with the leg and back, and they were there watching the concert as the shooting started, and her sister Lulu like tipped a wheelchair over, tried to protect her, then drug her out of the concert. They then wound up getting in a pickup truck that was full of 6 to 8 other people that had been shot, and they were going to the hospital, and then Lulu was at the hospital, like helping people out, and even in the truck, there was a woman that had been hit in the artery and was bleeding out, and she, was doing triage and, cutting off the bleeding and all that kind of stuff. I've just been reading several stories, things like that, and I've even seen some videos. I mean, there are some videos like the ones you see on the news, and you can't really tell what's going on. It's people ducking down and running and stuff like that. And then there's a couple videos now that are a little bit more extreme.
Yeah, and then I see the comments, below the video. Why don't they post this shit? No one's posted. Well, I mean, because some people might want some tact there with all that.
Yeah.
I know for a fact I would not want, if I found out my dad or someone got shot, I don't want that video out there. I wouldn't want someone to see that.
Yeah, but it's tough because it would keep resurfacing. Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah. There are parts to it where I read a lot of it because to me it's informative. And you never would ever want to be in that kind of situation. But to hear how some people handled it and what they did, to me, I'm intrigued for the reason that, one, you ask yourself, how would I have handled it? And two, is there anything that I can glean out of this to use for myself if I ever wound up in this situation? Because you'd hope you never would be, but you're never put in this, hopefully, except for maybe the one time in your life. For many people, this is the first time this had ever happened, being in this kind of situation.
Have you guys ever been in a situation like that where somebody pulls out a gun around a bunch of people?
No.
That happened my freshman year in high school. At the cafeteria, the kid brought a gun to school, and he went to go rob the cafeteria, and we were all sitting right by there, and then he starts looking over at the crowd, he starts waving the gun around, and out of the blue, one of our security guards tackled the fuck out of him, knocked the gun loose, but he was waving the gun around. Everyone hit the deck, was underneath it's horrifying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think Panda left your high school soon after that.
Yes, Panda was at school during that time, my freshman year. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. So, what do you do when these situations happen? How do you handle it? And some people sent us some other stories as well, and I've been drinking a lot of them in, and one guy that had 2 sons there with him at the show, and he talked a lot about like what Lauren and Lulu's story was, the chaos of trying to protect each other but also trying to exit the venue, then trying to find a vehicle that was out there, and people were just jumping into cabs in the back of trucks and everything else, just trying to get away from the scene, is kind of a lot of what was happening. And this a guy was telling the story of that, and I imagine, as you replay things back, and he will for the rest of his life, that's something that'll be there. His first initial questions were, how many people did I step over that needed my help? And, your first thought, and I think mine would be the same thing. If I had my kids with me, I'm getting my loved ones out of the venue first, and then I would consider, okay, am I going to go back and try to save other people? And that would be the thing. I think that would be the natural thing. I don't think you could fault anybody, but that was kind of where his line of questioning was going on his Facebook post. As this guy was telling his story, he's like, did I handle this the right way? Should I have stopped more to try to help people? How many people's lives could I have saved?
I mean, I think that's a natural thing to go through to say I could do more. But I mean, in a situation like that,
yeah.
You don't know how you're going to react.
No.
You could say you're going to be prepared for it, and as soon as it's going down, you really don't know what's going to happen because every situation is going to be a little bit different than that situation.
And I mean, you only handle things how you can handle them.
Sure, yeah.
And you can't beat yourself up because I mean, it's a very, very quick second that you have to make a decision, and your internal instincts are telling you to run, to get out of there, to save yourself.
And you didn't ask for this.
No.
You know what I mean? You were put in a horrible situation.
Mm-hmm. Got an email from somebody else saying, hey, if you do get a hold of Lauren and Lulu Farina, there's another girl apparently from Wellington that was there in the midst of the concert and the shooting. It was a friend of hers, and she said, I think it seems natural that you're trying to find people who shared an experience with you that you could connect with. And she's like, if you wouldn't mind passing on their information, I'd like to connect my friend. I think she'd be interested in talking to them and just finding some comfort and hearing how they did. Because, that's probably part of it. You want to say, what was going through your mind? How are you feeling? Do you feel like you handled things the right way?
Sure.
I saw one reporter, though. Some of the questions the reporters asked, I'm just like, what are you thinking? So, were you afraid when this was all going? No, I was not afraid. I was fucking, singing happy birthday. Come on.
Yeah, the media, a lot of times they have reporters that are young and they're not really experienced. And that's the one thing that's kind of happened is they want young and pretty. And
I don't know. The one reporter I was seasoned and still, I couldn't
She's
believe.
old, ugly, and asking dumb questions.
No, I don't want to say that. But I mean, this was a seasoned reporter. So were you afraid when this was going on? I mean, no. I loved it. And I get it because you're probably. It's probably a weird thing to ask, too. I guess I'm being too hard on the reporters. Fuck, I feel guilty now.
No, I'll tell you, though, honestly.
It's an awkward situation because you're standing in front of this traumatized person and you don't want to make it worse.
Yeah.
But you can make it worse.
You can, and I guess sometimes you cannot mean to make it worse. I think I've done that before.
But you can't ask them dumb questions.
You can.
And probably the better thing to do is just have somebody express the emotions of the situation and what happened.
Yeah.
Rather than asking them something, it's like, were you scared? If that was the question, that's a dumb question.
It's a dumb question.
It is a dumb question. Yeah. Come on, reporter, be better. You're already on your way out because you're old and ugly.
Yeah, Jay Bird said you were old and ugly.
Never said that. I said seasoned.
Yeah.
That means old and ugly.
It does, yeah.
Face like a fruit bat.
Yeah, fruit bat is what the one guy said earlier.
Elizabeth sent an email yesterday. I was telling you the story about the professor at USC that's almost like she had some trauma and she caused a false incident where she was saying active shooter and she had the people in her classroom get down and people were texting and calling, oh my gosh, this could be it, and da-da-da. And as the police showed up, they're like, there's nothing going on. And when they started talking to the professor, they realized she was shook. Like just something had happened, and
she lost it.
There was nothing.
Saw something that wasn't there.
Yeah, or maybe she didn't see anything at all. She just in her mind, it was just
freaking her out.
She had gotten some kind of probably from what she had seen on the news with the Las Vegas story. And Elizabeth sent an email, said, the story of the professor at USC brings up a valid point about how traumatized people are becoming about mass shootings and domestic terrorism. My 7-year-old son has to do drills at school for active shooters, where they have the kids hide not just under their desks anymore, but in closets, bathrooms, anywhere in the classroom that is out of sight. They have to practice staying silent while the teacher covers and locks the doors and windows. This, along with the tornado drills, makes my son feel pretty shaken up. Well, one day I get an automated voicemail from the school letting us know that they had a code red on campus, but it ended up being a false alarm. However, because it was not clear at first whether there was really an intruder on campus, they acted quickly and had the kids and teachers follow protocol, called in the cops, etc. I tried to explain to my son that it ended up being a false alarm and he was never in any danger, but he still insists that Jason from the horror movies was at his school trying to kill people.
Aww.
He's 7.
It's probably just kids telling other kids that.
Sure, yeah. I hear my son come home. He's 9, but I've heard, the last couple of years he's been at school, and he's told me these stories, and you're like, it's wrong.
Right.
But that's their thing that they're talking about. The only thing I can think of is that the SWAT team going door to door checking classrooms may have appeared to be masked. Although I'm glad the school was quick to act, it was heartbreaking to watch my son become afraid of school.
Sure.
He had nightmares for weeks afterward, to the point where I considered putting him into therapy. By the time I got him in anywhere, he had calmed down and started sleeping again, so I let it go instead of making him talk about it again. But it's so sad that in today's world, we have to expose our children to the reality that people with guns could come in to kill them at school, where they are supposed to be safe. I know in the past, students had to practice hiding under their desks in case of a bomb going off, but this is so much scarier because while Americans were never hit with nukes, these shootings seem to be happening every other day. So how am I supposed to tell my kid not to worry that it will ever happen? Again, and valid point.
Well, you can't make any promises that it won't happen because those are false, and I don't believe in lying to your kids.
But you could also say they do happen, but they don't happen all the time to all of the schools.
Right.
I mean,
It's very rare.
You don't want to make it seem like every school at any given time. I think you still have to tell them the truth, like you're saying, but also still try to protect their happiness and not having them worry.
Well, we purposely did not turn on any TVs Monday night because, I didn't want Mags seeing it. Even though I had been watching it all day and we had all been talking about it all day, I just kind of wanted her to not think it was such a prominent thing in my mind and in my thoughts, because I know how she is. She'll start thinking about it and then she'll get all panicked and
You
all
already got
upset.
a nervous Nelly.
She's already a nervous child, so I don't want to go down that road with her. But I'm sure she heard about it at school.
Oh, yeah.
I just kind of hope that everybody's downplaying it.
There's no way she didn't hear about it at school. I mean, Mags is 12? I mean, Mags isn't an idiot. I mean, 12-year-olds, they know shit.
According to Psychology Today, they say that the way that you handle these tragedies can actually shape your child's core beliefs. And what they recommend is that, as you're saying, one, you don't necessarily try to hide it from kids. They suggest that you tell them that bad things do happen, but it doesn't mean you share every detail of the tragic event. Instead, experts say to give kids as much information as they can safely handle and use it as a teachable moment, so that if they're ever put in that situation, that they would know better how to react.
And keep talking to them, too, about it. If they have questions, if they look upset, just try to keep working it out and flushing it out, and don't just let their minds wander. I think I can remember back to when I saw tragic things as a child, and nobody sat down with me and had a conversation about, our neighbor down the street that got hit by a car and died in my dad's arms. We never talked about that as a family. We never sat down and said, okay, this is just a horrible thing, and we don't know why something like this happens, but you're going to be okay. You don't have to worry that you're going to be hit too by a car. And
so your father, what was he doing that night? Was he...
He was in the house, and they heard it happen.
Any witnesses on this?
The car hit her, and the car ran. It was a hit and run.
We had the same thing in Lake Park. Where
it was at El Camino, and they caught the guy about 6 blocks from where we lived. The guy that hit her and ran tried to go park his car in the carport with the big dent on the front of it from where he hit the teen.
Yep.
And they totally busted him. He had been drinking and driving, and he just never saw the kid, and she ran out in front of the car.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't entirely, he was drinking and driving, so he probably was more at fault than the teen, but she ran out in front of his car, is what her friends said.
Well, as a little kid, like the email is saying, I remember I was 7 or 8 when the hit and run happened in Lake Park, and our windows were open, and it was about 11:30 at night, and you heard the kid scream.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid, 11:30 at night, that haunted me. I was always afraid to go to bed with the windows open anymore. So when you are 7, 8, that shit sticks with you, man.
Yeah.
It does.
So, let your kids know that they're more likely to get hit by a car and die tragically that way.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so me and Virginia are clearly in a depression off. We're going to try to say what's
It's like a one-up here of...
Oh, really? Well, let me tell you about the guy with the... No, I'm just...
My son will ask me those kind of things, and he's... I wouldn't put him in the category of nervous Nelly, but of my 3 kids, he's the one that is the most, always asking those kind of questions. You can tell that he's nervous about it. And the one thing that I oftentimes try to do, a little bit like what they're saying, I don't sugarcoat it. I don't downplay it. I do withhold a lot of information. But a lot of times, too, in the grand scheme of things, let's throw out the stats on what it is. It seems like half the world got shot on Monday. And you're like, it seems like, she said, this happens every other day. It doesn't. I mean, I know we've had 2 mass shootings back to back in last year with Pulse in Orlando, this year with Las Vegas. But at the same right, there were almost 30,000 people at that venue at that show. 59 people are dead. A couple hundred were injured. Still, in the grand scheme of things, that still puts at how many people walked out of that venue still unscathed.
In my opinion, and I'm going back as 7-year-old Jay Bird, if my mom or dad told it to me that way, I would feel better.
Yes.
You would make me feel better. And I think, isn't that your job?
That is.
As the parent?
That is your job as a parent, to ease their little minds.
Yes.
Because they're going to go lay down at night and try to go to sleep and be thinking about it and be all upset. And you have to have given them enough information to help them get calm and peaceful. And if you don't tell them and talk to them about it, then they're just going to lay in bed and freak out and worry and turn it over and over in their head and just, oh my gosh, I'm going to be hit by a car. I'm going to be hit by a car too.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to be shot at a concert too. I'm going to get shot. I'm going to get shot.
Funny enough, too, my mom said, there's kind of the same thing that with the whole hit by a car and how it's rare. Fuck, I got hit by a car. I really did when I was older. Like, Mom, you lied to me. It is dangerous.
Weren't you jogging at night backwards?
I had my headphones on.
With headphones on?
It was a lot of my own doing, yes. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. When you talk about it, it seems like that'd be the only thing going through your kid's mind, and they would be so terrified by that. Yes, I mean, your odds of dying in any kind of mass shooting like that compared to the population and everything else are very slim. I mean, there's a lot of other things that you can tell your kids. Like, say, hey, you know what? 1 in 7 chance of dying from cancer.
Yeah, there's a better...
So cheer up, kid.
There's a better shot of someone breaking in the house.
Yeah.
No, don't say that.
1 in 88 chance of a car killing you.
Trying to bring a little levity. It's this stuff's depressing to talk about.
Yeah, it is. But that's the one thing that if you're like a parent that is like, oh, what do I say to my kid? Just, let them know, hey, it's good to know how to get yourself out of a situation like that or to remain as safe as possible. But odds are you're never going to have to need that information. So that's what I would do. Got an interesting text today, too, because we were talking about...
All right. I'm sorry, Kev. Virginia, am I allowed to say what happened?
What was it?
She ate styrofoam. Okay,
She what? Ate
we've been trying to
styrofoam.
go over the movie lines that we're doing, and she's such a fucking diva. She keeps on burping. And, I ate styrofoam. Mama doesn't feel well.
Wait, why'd you use styrofoam?
I accidentally... Okay, so yesterday we ordered a bunch of Chinese food, and I put it in the oven to keep it warm.
Yeah.
And some of it was in, like, regular, like, Chinese containers.
Okay.
But some of it, like the stuff right on top, there was these dumplings, like 3 layers of dumplings that were in styrofoam. And so I didn't realize I had the oven on such high heat. It melted the top layer of styrofoam onto these dumplings. And so I didn't serve them to anybody last night for dinner because I was like, oh, I don't want to give anybody styrofoam poisoning. But this morning, I looked at them and I'm like, they don't look that bad.
How bad could it be?
I put them aside. I put them in the fridge. I'm like, maybe no styrofoam got on them. And so this morning when I came in here for work, I put some of the styrofoam dumplings in the microwave and heated them up and ate them. And now I am sick as a dog from these styrofoam dumplings.
She keeps burping. It's
I thought I
really-
heard it.
And I'm not trying to be at all.
It's from the depths of my soul.
I'm not trying to be mean, but your burps, they're not loud, but they gross me out the most because it's from real below. It's like this
guttural.
There's like a leaking that comes. I don't know. It's like wet.
This styrofoam is doing something weird to me.
Sure, it usually does.
It's turning my soul.
I'm so glad I get to sit right next to you.
Oh, you're no picnic over there with his boot. He's kicked me about 4 times already during the show. I don't say nothing. No, I don't say nothing because I just expect him to absorb the burps like I absorb the kicks.
Would you rather get kicked or burped on? Kicked, right? It's a tough question.
We can come over there and do both.
You
You
tell
guys
us.
are bringing a sea of misery
We can
at
come
me.
over there and cuddle you and just
No, I'm
give
good.
it all
I'll
to you.
kick the shit out of you.
So happy we have
Perf
this
the
large
fucking-
desk space. Yes.
Yeah, be happy you're over there. It's
Yeah.
good to be king. Trust
is.
me.
It's
It ain't
nice.
good being the fucking pauper.
I got this email says, "Hey Kev, when can I expect payment for knocking on Jaybird's door after midnight as you requested?"
Oh.
As you requested. It wouldn't surprise me.
Also, I still haven't gotten paid the $300 you promised for taking Jerby's truck and the extra $100 for leaving the windows down.
Yeah.
Look at you, Kevin. You got a whole side thing going for creating chaos on the show in exchange for cash.
All he's got to do
Yeah.
is give his marching orders and his fucking minions go to work.
Yeah, I'm several hundred in the hole for all these shenanigans.
How are you going to get that money off the queen?
Tough, yeah, I know.
Kevin may not just pay you. He just may just say, yeah, I'll pay you, and then he doesn't pay you.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Finally, may I have an update on Lonely Eyes' hookup or hang-up date? If he went, I missed it.
Hey, I'm not dating anybody. I've had my leg, the hurricane. It's just been a lot going on.
Did you ever go out with her?
I told you all that I wasn't going to get into any of that. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
Why are you
Rachel-
so secretive?
Rachel sent an email.
I can't imagine why.
Rachel says, "Okay, Jaybird, stop dodging the question. What is going on with your date? We do care. Please just tell us."
Nothing's going on.
Everybody cares.
Two emails and frickin' frack in the studio.
Come on.
Can you talk to me without spitting on me?
I'm sorry. I've got intestinal fucking issues.
You
I
are.
told your ass things are not right in my
She's
gut.
spitting up stomach acid on you.
She's spitting fucking styrofoam at me. She's grilling me about my
And
dating life.
I'll keep spitting until you tell me who you're fingering.
I'm fingering no one. Honest to God, I'm fingering no one. No fingering. None.
None.
Let me smell your fingers.
Well, I mean, it's gonna smell like bird sauce. Like, see, I know it. He's fingering bird sauce, bitches. I can't win no matter what, Kev.
Welcome to life, my friend.
Welcome to communication with a woman.
Where is this woman people keep telling me I work with?
This email from John D said, "Hey, love the show. Kev, you're a great captain who brings a lot of interesting stories and conversations and keeps everything moving in a seamless fashion.
Well, look at this.
Jaybird literally has me in tears on a daily basis. Virginia's like the cool yet super annoying hot woman. Denny's, I mean, come on, he's awesome. But one issue. This is really butter you up just to tear you down.
Here we go. Bring it.
When you give the contest rules of win 2 out of 3 on Drunk Girl Trivia or 3 out of 5 on other games, yeah, give the prize regardless of what happens, it really gets to me. Why give the rules if it doesn't matter? I get that you don't care and you got to give away the prizes and who wins doesn't really matter and you want to move on with the show, but why give the rules of get this mini right to win? I'm not sure why this gets to me so much, but it does. I live in St. Louis, and I can't even win. But damn, 2 out of 3 means 2 out of 3. Hitters get slushies.
I'm with them.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Drunk Girl Trivia is 1 out of 3.
1 out of 3 on that. And you know what? I think I might have blown that because I think I gave credit because I thought someone
You
else said
did.
something. And I
you
didn't mean
messed
to.
it up, but it's okay. It happens. It's chaotic because you've got 2 people answering questions. You've got your contestant who's on the phone,
Yeah.
and you've got the drunk contestant who's on the recording, and it does get confusing. And Kevin does mess it up sometimes.
And then sometimes the questions are like, yeah,
you know what?
so-
I don't even think that the Drunk Girl Trivia is the one that gets people annoyed. It's the ones where they clearly don't win a contest.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, fuck, we'll give it anyway.
I love when you do that.
But you're the only one though, and that's my point. Is
Why?
because people listening, it's a game. It'd be like me while watching Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune. I'm invested in this. I'm pulling for somebody, and then all of a sudden, Sajak goes, you know what? No, fuck it. You guys win too. Like fuck.
I would love it if Sajak said that. You both give $5,000. What? Oh, Sajak's awesome.
He's right. If we're not going to follow the rules, there's no point of even going over the
Yeah.
rules. I'm with him.
So what I do to answer John D's question of like why these things come down the way they do is because I know Virginia's on one side, I know Jaybird's on the other.
Yes, I'm with him.
I've had that happen before where it's like I don't give the prize. Virginia kind of makes me look like a dick or feel like a dick. And I'm like going, yes, publicly on the radio, like, oh, and I'm like,
You're
going,
not going
I'm
to give
such
it
a dickhead. Yeah.
Kev, she's got kids.
Right, I know.
She does have kids.
Yes.
Well, fuck. Bitch can't get some Rapids tickets.
Well, you can't. No.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that
You
way.
know how expensive them tickets are.
Then fucking win the game.
Yeah.
Well, the games are hard.
So typically what I do is, yes, I try to give a little bit of a standard of like a 2 to 3. I'm not completely hard-nosed on it. And what I do is a lot of times I use that as an out. When we do have somebody come on and they're completely fucking clueless.
You get mad and you will hang up on them.
Well, that gives me the right to be able to say, well, you give everybody a prize. No. So, no, not everybody. Because if you come on and if it's super close and you really want the ticket and
it's entertaining.
Not to mention, too, like I need to move on and sometimes I need to give away all these tickets in a week. And so it would mean I'd have to come up with another game to try to give away the pair they just didn't win. So ultimately, in all those kind of things, it's like, fuck it, give them the tickets. Because they put in a really good try and they were super close, and it's like, well, who cares?
And she's got kids, Cam.
Yeah, and you don't want to look like the big dick of now I'm going to turn the mom down.
She has thrown you under the bus
so many times.
So many times on the air.
Yeah.
Cam, you're not going to give them the
right.
tickets?
I know.
Well, motherfucker, they didn't win.
I like to see everybody win.
Slushies for hitters.
I'm sorry. I like radio contests where people win.
Yeah.
But that's not a contest.
No, it's not. No, exactly.
It makes me happy.
I agree
Now,
with
if
you.
they're totally stupid and just dumbasses,
Yes.
I agree with you. They don't deserve to win. But if they're close and if they're sweet and if they have kids,
if they're close and they're entertaining, I think entertainment is something that is deserving of tickets.
Yeah, and that's typically what I do. So it's like, I wouldn't say we're not as hardcore as a TV game show. But I put that down there to give me the wiggle room. And sometimes I will wiggle out of it based on the criteria you just said. I'll give them tickets. But if they come on and it's like, when you're just like, come on, man. Like, that was just a pathetic showing. It's like,
if they suck, I would never want you to hook them up.
And we do, and we move on. Like, we've had that the last couple times we've done the whole Battle of the Generations. We've had a couple people on there that have been like, and people are then going, come on.
That's a tricky game.
Yes, but I've had a lot of people be like, going, come on, these people are morons.
I'm kind of a big fan of impatient / Dickie Kev, where it's like, I got to move on.
You love Dickie rants.
Because I like a no-nonsense Kevin, so I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it all goes down. So, when you make the own rules and whatever, that's why we do what we do.
I guess I just like being a dick to Jason, but not to others. I'm just figuring that out about myself.
Oh, trust me, the audience has figured that one out.
Justin sent an email. He said, even as a diehard listener who hasn't missed a single show in 5 years, I just realized I have no idea what Suits' real name is.
We like to keep it that way.
Do we?
I mean, I do, but...
Yeah, Jeremy.
Oh. I didn't like it when Denny's real name got leaked.
Yeah, in there it's Jeremy and Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it doesn't sound right. I hate it. When Kevin calls me Jason, it makes me feel like my uncle just, I don't know, rubbed my balls. It doesn't feel right.
So that's how it was in their family.
It just doesn't, I don't like it.
Which uncle rubbed your balls?
It was a bad joke, and I'm sure I'll get 9 emails about it. Send them to Kevin, please.
Let me see. 2, anyone who gives a shit about giving tickets when a caller doesn't win, fuck them. It's one of the many reasons I love your show. It's uplifting, well, other than the insults to each other, LMAO. 4, for Monday's Think Fast game, I suggest a new rule. If you ask for a fruit, for instance, it's just an example, and it starts with an A, and all 3 basically give the same answer.
Apricot.
If you have, 2 apples, for instance, and somebody says apricot, then do it category style and give it to the unique answer, not to the one if they all say it at the same time. So I don't know anything about categories, but that's his suggestion.
Okay, I like the suggestions.
Mm-hmm. And he says, Kev keeps saying he's going to be bored for a 7-hour drive Friday and Sunday to and from Tallahassee. So if you're wanting to discuss any hot topic issues like race, religion, politics without somebody getting mad and it delving into name calling, just saying, I am your man for that. So text me and we can have our conversation. So there you go. Yeah, that would be nice. I do like that. So Justin lives in the Maryland area. He's up near D.C. So he said, you do have some awesome events that are both fun and helping your community. I wish you could attend more, but I'm out of the area. So
Maryland. I've never really been to Maryland. I don't think
beautiful.
I don't think I've even been. I might have went through like a hair of Maryland.
A hair of Maryland or Maryland?
Maryland.
Okay, Maryland, yes. It's a beautiful country.
I know there's a D at the end of it. D.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if you were talking about somebody named Marilyn, and I didn't know what kind of hair you were talking about.
I a lot of times I talk and it's wrong.
It's all right.
I apologize.
Can we get a boot on your mouth?
Sure.
I think it's more broke than your foot.
Believe me, I annoy myself. I get it.
It's a beautiful country there. I love D.C. D.C.'s the fun town. I like history, though, and so Yes.
That's the last place I'd want to go.
You've been to Kentucky
Politics
before?
and history.
Yes,
Ugh.
many times.
How about
I grew up in Ohio, so we were always going through Kentucky.
What about Vermont?
No, never Vermont.
Never Vermont.
No.
I don't know why I got such a thing for Vermont.
I hear great things. A buddy of mine went up there, and he wants me to go with them next summer. They go up, apparently, Vermont has a ton of great breweries up there, known for the craft beer. I think Magic Hat, that's one of the beers that comes up from that area, and they went up to the Magic Hat Brewery and several others.
Sounds cozy.
Yeah, they did kind of like some hiking. They have some kind of it's very forested, and they have some kind of like a mountain type things.
I can see you sitting down at a bar and getting like a maple pecan ale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that would be just my thing.
That'd be
so
nice.
I love it. Let's go to fucking
I do
Vermont.
that. Well, I might do that next summer. If you'd like to come along, jump in with the crew.
I would love to be your Chewbacca.
Yeah, come on in. Yeah, I think you would like all the gentlemen. Very nice fellas. Let me see here. Somebody else sent an email. Gilberto said, Kev, how do you feel about the new ownership of the Marlins? Is it truly a new era of new ownership? And he said, can a casual fan start investing time and taking kids, family to buy a jersey, etc., with not wanting to hang themselves the very next year? He's got a couple questions here about some sports stuff. And he says, okay, Vicious V, you may wake up now.
I'm sorry, I dozed off.
Yes. The Marlins, it's alarming. Derek Jeter just took over, and he stressed that fans are our number one priority, preached patience when it comes to turning the Marlins around. I'm okay with that, I guess. But he said that they hope to do something great for the market and for the organization, but he warned of looming unpopular decisions. I translate that to mean they're going to get rid of Giancarlo Stanton.
I think you're going to see.
He gone.
I think you're going to see Stanton, and I'll make it quick, Virginia. I think you're going to see Stanton in the American League.
I just wonder if South Florida will lose their mind if he sends him to the Yankees.
I don't know if I don't know if people are going to give a shit, Kev. I think baseball fans will care that like the Marlins.
I would care.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't set the Jeter ownership up on the right foot with me because it's like the former El Capitan of the Yankees sends our best player to the Yankees.
It's weird.
Fuck that guy.
No, it's weird. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, so that would piss me off. Let me see here. Another thing, this is interesting. In Virginia, your take on this, there is a conspiracy going around with the whole kneeling thing. It's kind of a week late, but the Oakland Raiders, they're one of the teams that kneeled, but their quarterback stood. And during that game, they're supposed to be like the best offensive line or one of the best in the NFL. And I'm just going and regurgitating the story that's out there. I'm not giving my opinion on this. I'm just telling you the story. He got hit several times, and the line was just seemed to be collapsing mysteriously. And they were saying that the line was pissed off at him because he stood for the anthem and didn't kneel with them, and so the line kind of gave him up and let him get his ass kicked.
Well, the Steelers kind of said the same thing about their guy that came out of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And they were like, look, we're all a team.
Villanueva, yeah.
We stayed in the locker room together.
But they're saying they set this guy up for pain. Go ahead. You want to hit him?
I would not be surprised.
Their own teammate?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, now you're risking the game. I don't know if that's what they were
just
doing.
a conspiracy.
Yeah, I don't
that's
think
out there.
I don't think that's real.
I mean, people. This is a very emotional thing for people, and I mean.
It is, but you're an NFL player and you're playing between the lines and it's a game. I don't see them taking a knee and falling so one guy can get. I just don't see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would hope not.
You would really hope not.
But I will say that quarterback is hurt now, and he's going to be out several weeks. So, don't know.
They showed him.
Yeah. And also, the NBA is no longer going to do East-West. They're going to let a couple captains just pick, kind of like you would do out on the playground. So you could have players from East or West. Honestly, that game is kind of a joke anyway, and do you really care? I mean, who remembers, if I went back the last 3 years of the All-Star game, would you remember East-West? And I think it's the same. I think the West wins every year anyway.
East won the first, West was the second, then East back in the third.
I think you're wrong.
I'm very wrong.
I think the West pretty much wins every year. So, let me see here. A little bit of a drinking game suggestion from Amanda. Came up with a drinking game from listening to the show. Take a shot every time Kevin says, "There you go," after each topic. Every time Virginia yells, "Denny's," Jason says, "Question," before he asks a question. And Denny says, "For sure."
Question, do I do that a lot?
Yes.
Really? Yeah, there's a lot of things I think we all do that we don't realize we do.
Absolutely.
It's just from talking, a lot.
Whenever I'm trying to focus on what Kevin's saying, I'll go, wow. And I really try to focus. That's what I'll say.
We all have our crutches, our verbal crutches.
Definitely.
She said, not trying to make fun of this show every day and just notice these things. Love you all, man.
No, she's 110% right.
They're funny when you point them out, but then they get in your head, and then you try not to do them, and you do them. You can't think about them.
Mm-hmm.
Question. I don't know if I'm going to change. That's not a question.
That's a statement, you dick.
Statement.
There you go. All righty, everybody. Thank y'all for locking in today. Tonight, going to be doing the packet pickup at the Palm Beach outlets. I'll be there starting at 5 o'clock. Virginia's going to be out there as well. They've got the free food and wine at the Palm Beach Wine and Cheese Fest from 6 to 9.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So get your little packet for the race so you have all your glow stuff ahead of time. And then come over and sip a little wine, eat a little cheese. And it's all free, too, because they were going to be doing the wine and cheese a few weeks ago. Irma messed all that up. They were going to charge money for it. Now they're just doing it for free.
And just to let you know, the KVJ 5K Glow Run is going to be tomorrow then. You can pick up your packet if you're already signed up today, or you can just walk up to the race tomorrow, or you can register right now at kvj5k.com.
People can still sign up at the venue, can they not?
Yes.
When they get there, if they wanted to?
They can register. They can walk up and register just in case, they've got stuff going on. They're not sure if they can make it.
Someone from Vero was asking, do they have to come to the pickup thing today?
No.
Got you.
You do not have to come to the packet pickup. It's just in case you like to be dressed already and have your glow stuff and have your little number, pinned onto your shirt. It's just for the people that like to get pre-prepared. That's all.
All righty, you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.